In today's junk journal with me, I'm going to be working on the prompt of outline for junk journal January. And normally, when I start a spread, I say that I don't have any idea of what I'm going to do, but I truly mean it with this spread. I had no idea where this was going to go. I basically just had some collage papers that I'd collected and a bit of a dream that I was going to do something within the pages of this journal. I think the prompt of outline is really interesting because it's one of those prompts that isn't immediately obvious in terms of a supply or like a color scheme or anything like that. And I think I really enjoy the prompts that make me think a little bit, and hopefully you enjoy exploring those too and seeing where it pushes you creatively, because oftentimes I think the pages where we do have to think a bit more and maybe experiment with different things we're going to do within our journals, they're often the pages that I either find are my favorites or that I really enjoy the process of and get something out of. And I think by the end of this page, I was definitely in a place where I felt like I had something that I wanted to develop into another idea. So all I was doing at the start was just like layering my collage papers, because I had a vague idea that I maybe wanted to outline something, but I wasn't quite sure like how I was going to do it on the actual journal page itself. But I knew that I needed a base of collage papers, because I think this is one of the staples for my journals, is like, if especially if I don't know where I'm going to go or like how to start, like I'll just start adding some papers, and oftentimes when I do that I kind of end up finding my way throughout the page. And I mean, if I don't, I end up with just a nice collaged background anyway. So I was playing around with some different papers. As you can see, I've got like tissue paper, and I even cut down a part of this bright yellow post-it note, which seems a bit of a random choice, I think, with all of the neutrals that I have going on, but I really enjoyed it as just a bit of a pop of colour on my page. I think I am leaning into that now, having that pop of colour, and as long as it's contained, I think I quite like it, and how it contrasts with the neutrals that I've got going on everywhere else. And I thought that it would just help to add some interest to the page. Now, I did think about whether I needed to maybe add a layer of a acrylic paint wash, like some white paint over the top, just to subdue it slightly and to make everything blend in. Like, I'm always looking for like what's going to be cohesive, but with this page I actually quite liked the fact that it was all feeling a little bit scrappy, a little bit all over the place. Like, I think that was the charm of this page, is that with just like a few layers of paper I was able to build up the journal page essentially, because when you boil it down to how many pieces of paper and things I added onto this page, it was actually quite a simple page when it came down to it. And my favorite part came when I added this piece of transparency, and it had a little bit of like a tab. It's almost like a mini like file folder shape, and I trimmed it down slightly. And at first I thought I was just going to include it and like stick it on the page itself, just to have a little bit of ghosting, and then with the thinking that whatever I'm going to add an outline will like pop against the translucency, because it makes everything almost a bit more blurred, and so whatever I was going to outline would then really stand out and look crisp. But I ended up actually adding it just with a piece of washi tape, and I tipped it down on the bottom of the page. So normally I would go for like adding it along the side, like the left or the right, or even at the top so you can lift it up. But I actually came in with just a little bit of pale pink washi tape and added this at the bottom of this piece of paper, so that it would fold outwards, like you would pull it and it would fold downwards. So it's a little bit different in that sense, but I think that just meant that I could keep my options open in terms of, did I want to add anything else behind this? I could always tuck something behind it, and then like I do later on in the video, I've added a little paper clip so that I haven't like completely committed to gluing this down fully. Like, I could come back and do that if I want to, but I think I've just sort of left that possibility open, perhaps if I want to come back and add anything else to this journal page. But when I came to adding the focal point for this, I actually opted for something a little plainer. So of course it had to be a floral fussy cut piece, and I actually just picked this white rhododendron, I think it is, and I really liked the way that it was contrasting against the pops of colour that I had on the page. So rather than having something that would potentially like compete, I actually decided to go for just that like white neutral colour. And so I just thought that it would work quite well on top of this translucent element that I had added to my page. So as you saw, I ended up using just a plain old pencil and also a white acrylic paint marker to outline the edges of the image that I had added, and this is very subtle, like you can see it a lot more in person, and I think it just adds a nice soft outline that isn't too harsh. Like I think if I'd have gone all the way around it with just black, it would have looked a bit odd on this page, but I think it's nice and soft and goes with the general vibe of everything that's going on for this page. So that is what I created for the prompt of outline. I hope you enjoyed joining me for this journal with me. There's definitely space on this page to add more, so I don't know. Maybe I might come in with the next prompt and add stuff, or I might just leave it as is. Let me know, what do you think? Do you think it's finished as it is, or should I go in and add some more? And as always, let me know down below in the comments what you've created for this prompt of outline. I'd love to know how you're going so far in your journals for January.